Yeah, this is my martial arts, people. I'm a nerd. I'm a huge, huge, huge nerd, to say the least. To
Yeah.
the point that I've worked at my voice acting for so long, I've actually got a major role in a fandom.
Hooray!
And that's probably the pinnacle of this.
Well, now you got the role. You just have to keep aiming up. That's the best.
Yeah, until one day I live out my life dream, and I swear to God people are gonna laugh at me for this. Working at Funimation.
Oh, that's fair enough. You're probably about to laugh at what I'm about to say next, because it's every single cheesy cliche there you go. But if you got a dream, you must pursue it, no matter what. Don't let life get you down.
Yeah, and trust me, life is definitely not going to get me down from this thing, because I am that much of a nerd, guys.
Fair enough.
But, yeah, I don't want to go off into too much of a ramble, because I don't want to take up 2 hours of broadcast. I'm talking about voice acting, which I totally could.
Yeah, I believe it, trust me. So, let's just move on to that other thing you mentioned, because I didn't think of it that way, but yeah, you're right, it is something I can kind of count as a nerd as well. Writing. We're both big suckers for that.
Yeah, writing. I know we probably should mention that, even though we have kind of discussed it before, that we do write, which is part of the reason why we get to complain about other people's writing.
Yeah.
We get rights, people! We get writing rights!
In Sven are pretty keen writers. In fact, I'm kind of a semi-aspiring writer slash filmmaker, so yeah, I can...
Yeah.
But you can kind of say that, in a strange way, it's like Ryu and Ken, and we both do voice acting and writing, but whereas I'm focused more on the writing side, Sven's focused more on the voice acting side, it's...
Yeah, and as you would probably guess by the VGTs I've appeared in, it kind of works out like that.
Yeah, it did, indeed. But yeah, I don't know what to say about it. It's just something I really enjoyed. I always love writing stories. I've always loved seeing people's reactions to them. So that's why me and Sven, we've always made it our own personal products and basically just rewrite some of our earlier role plays and then try and release them in some form to the internet.
Yeah, case in, I can waffle on about that RP for ages.
Oh yeah. I think I know which one you mean as well.
Yeah, we're getting into the topic of rewrites, people, so the topic to Jonin is probably very obvious.
Yeah, I should probably explain, like me and Sven have said before, we met through text RPs, and there's one which was, I think it's fair to say, was the one that kind of solidified our friendship, and the fact that it was the one that kind of united us and several other people we know closely together. But the thing is, we're kind of so proud of that we've been constantly rewriting it.
Yeah, in several ways, shapes, and forms, giving it sequels, rewriting the proper thing, and whenever I say sequels, I mean on the side, there are 1, 2, 3, at least 3 extra installments and a side story, so...
Yeah, and yet we still keep thinking of ideas for new ones, and not to mention that those rewrites have then had extensive rewrites. I mean, those rewrites have had adaptations, because there was one time when I tried to adapt it into an animation script, and you're considering writing it into a radio play, so...
Yeah, it's kind of prolific. In fact, it's so prolific you can find it on the Neo Seeker Role-Playing Forum Hall of Fame.
Oh wow, it really reached there, really?
Yeah, it reached the archives.
Oh wow, I'm glad someone liked it. I would provide a link, but to be honest, I should probably explain this is kind of when we're in, well, I guess the American equivalent would be high school, so it's not really that good.
Yeah, you say high school, I was in junior high school.
Oh wow.
I was 13 years old when I started this thing.
Uh.
The original friggin' blows.
I can't remember how old I was. I was probably not that much older, something like if I was 15 or something.
I was 13. So given the time frame, you were probably about 19 when we wrote that.
Yeah.
So you were still better than I was, I think.
A little better, but not much. I still had very little writing experience, so... I mean, I've imagined stories several times, but imagining the story and then writing it are two completely different things.
Yeah. The thing is, though, even though it was so terribly, terribly, terribly terribly bad. Shuddering here at how bad it was. It had a charm to it.
Yeah.
It ran really well for being something that I created whenever I was 13 years old.
Yeah. That's just the thing. I mean, I know it's kind of sad that we're talking about a series that it'll probably be a long time before it sees it, although actually you have like posted the first part of the rewrite on the Writer's Lounge, which I may give a link to, but yeah.
That's the one that I'd really prefer people judge, because obvious reasons.
Yeah, I'll probably post a link on the video or something, but yeah, even when there are characters who were kind of failed by the writing to my younger selves, I do love someone going back and kind of rewriting them. Like, part of the reason I'm writing a side story to instead RP, which I'm actually trying to make in radio play form. Kind of gonna cast, I'm just waiting on a few technical difficulties, but yeah, I kind of like just going back to characters or just ideas and then revamping them a bit. I'm actually working on a novel right now. It's taking a long time because I keep hitting writer's blocks every once in a while, that and time issues, but yeah, it's actually taking one of the first characters I ever made in an RP and is basically making her to her own series, which I plan to try and release as a multi-book thing, although whether it will get off the ground is another thing.
Yeah, that's always the question, really.
But yeah, it's kind of hard to describe. I'm not sure what I would say I find so enjoyable about writing. I mean, I guess it's letting the imagination flow or just getting the chance to experience. I mean, you get this kind of joyous feeling from writing, but it's really hard to describe on it.
I think it's probably because it's the outlet for my explosive imagination, because I'm about to get sappy here, part of what I feel defines me is my ridiculously over-the-top imagination, which is probably why I like so many games, too. So, it's an outlet for that, for me.
Yeah, I think you summed it up best. I mean, it's the same for me. I've been coming up with stories all of my life, and I absolutely love writing. I love just having a channel to express it. That's kind of part of the reason why I want to be a filmmaker, because I want to kind of release it in a... This is my really sappy lifelong dream, and my life goal is to create a series that gets popular enough so that it kind of has a sort of cult and a fan site and can just inspire someone who was like me when I was my age. Just to fill the gap of all the old great stories, TV shows, games, etc. that I grew up with. Just a story that catches on in popularity and inspires people. That's what I really want to make. And it doesn't matter if it's not the greatest thing since sliced bread or the most successful series of all time, but just something that captures the imagination of another person. That's really my life goal.
Yeah, and, well, my life goal is pretty similar. My life goal is to have a story end up on TV tropes. So
yeah, TV tropes is a good mark to aim for otherwise. I mean, I'll be honest, right now, that's the main goal of this channel. Make enough work so that it earns a TV tropes page. That's really good.
Yeah, it's a good bar to set. And sorry if I kind of interrupted the sappy depth there, but that is my goal right now for writing.
Yeah,
end
really.
up with a story on TV tropes.
No, you didn't interrupt anything. In fact, I think, yeah, that's the way you have to keep aiming for trees. Climb up one bar at a time. And frankly, TV tropes is a good bar for now. So.
And hopefully, eventually, one day, you will see us up there in some way, shape, or form.
Hooray!
That would I love that big-ass story we just waffled on about to get up there. That would be so cool.
Oh, yeah. We could waffle on about this, so that's just a slice of how nerdy we are. And to be honest, like I said, we're nerds, but we're proud of it. And in fact, this is actually a true story, and it's just kind of a small personal revelation, but I kind of posted a long semi-essay comment on a Black Tide music video that was on YouTube, basically because the song was used in Street Fighter X Tekken. I kind of posted how I felt it related to the characters, and basically someone posted nerd and then kind of gave a disappointed face or whatever it was. And what was strange was that I stared at the comment and then I realised I wasn't offended at all. I mean, my younger self would have probably been foaming at the mouth, but it's actually just gotten to the stage where we're nerds, but we're perfectly comfortable with it, honestly.
Nerds are proud of it, bitches.
Yeah. We're nerds, but it's who we are. And honestly, thinking about it, nerds comes under two things. One, people who are smarter than other people, which, yeah, if we're smart, we're fine with that. And second is someone who just has an obsession with something. And honestly, I don't mind admitting I have an obsession with these. I like games, I like stories, I like martial arts, etc. I'm more than willing to admit it, because I love those things.
Yeah, and really, in all honesty, nerdiness is not something you should be ashamed of. If we didn't have nerds, we wouldn't have Star Wars. Because, let's be honest, it was George Lucas being a nerd that brought us one of the greatest stories ever.
That's true, and that's actually a good point. I mean, someone pointed out that part of the reason why we get so many great superhero movies now, and many great genre movies, is because the nerds of one generation are now becoming the filmmakers of the current generations.
Yeah, and to be honest, I see no issue with that.
So yeah.
Also, without nerds, we wouldn't have anime, we would not have superheroes, we would not have things like Star Wars, Star Trek. Our world would be far more boring without nerds.
Indeed. Hear the call for revolution. Rise up, be out and proud of yourself. Admit that you are the nerd. We are...
Oh god, now I'm reminded of a scene in a recent RP, strangely enough. But that's another story for another time.
Yeah. So yeah, that concludes this discussion. I hope you had a rather personal look into who we are. If you have any opinions on what we've said, or if you would like to share your own nerdoms, feel free to post them in the comment section. That's what it's there for. But now, we better wrap this up on a happy note for once. So, that was me, the Jonin Monkey.
And me, Sven the Crusader, signing off. Be proud of who you are, nerds. Let the revolution commence. Speaking of being a ham.
That was Monkey Broadcast, a monthly review and discussion show hosted by the Jonin Monkey and Sven the Crusader. If you feel that you've been the subject of slander or that your copyright has been misused, please PM me and I'll try and get round to fixing it as soon as possible. We also welcome any comments, be it feedback or your own viewpoints on any of the things we've discussed. Until next month, have fun kids!